Hi. So I've read all the answers that you guys gave to that first pre-test about what you want to learn in this course. And I thought I would answer a whole bunch of those questions here so we could kind of kickstart your learning and you can get to know more about what you need to be doing. So I've got my list here. I took a little list of what you guys wrote down. So the first thing I want to address is really a lot of you asked actually the same question, which was you want to learn more about how you can plan healthy eating patterns, meal plans, how much to eat a day, etc. I'm parched. And I want to kind of go through a day with you, if you will. So first of all, never one of the worst things that you can do is wake up in the morning and go, what should I eat? The same way that you kind of already know what you're going to wear when you're going to the gym, you're going to wear workout clothes. When you go to a party, you're going to wear party clothes. In the morning, you need to know what you're going to eat. And the same way that the childcare licensing requires that we have a meal plan for the week for children, I strongly suggest that you have a meal plan for yourself. And the reason for that is because number one, it'll be cheaper. If you plan your meals ahead of time and you know what you're going to eat, you actually will not jump and binge buy because you're hungry. Some of you wrote that you actually don't eat some of your meals, and that's not a good thing either. So I'll walk you through my day. And the reason why I think I might be a good example is because at one point I weighed 200 pounds. And I made a change when I was 40. So, yes, you can still make a change and fix your life. My cholesterol was 270, and I am now 53. My cholesterol is about 116. I weigh about 135 pounds. I'm 5'8", and I can run a Spartan race, and I just came in fifth in my age category. So, yes, you can make a change. So, first of all, in the morning, what do I eat in the morning? I have an obsession. I am going to admit it to you. Every morning, I have a tall soy caramel macchiato, extra foamy, just one pump of vanilla at Starbucks. That's my go to. I have ADHD and I need it in the morning in order to organize and focus. Um, then I have for breakfast, I'll usually have 3 egg whites. Um, I am mostly vegan, but I do need the protein, and so I have 3 egg whites. And then I also, around maybe 10 o'clock, I'll have a handful of cashews and a handful of some kind of fruit. So maybe blueberries, raspberries, blackberries, some cantaloupe, and some cashews, and that'll take me through to lunch. I try to make sure that when I'm eating, I never eat more than this much. This is my fist. It is the same size as my stomach. Your hand is the same size as your stomach, and this is how much food you put in your stomach at a time. Not that much, not that much. As a matter of fact, in the United States and in most of the world, when it was the 1800s, dinner plates were about that big, right? About the size of my face. And now when you go to like Cheesecake Factory, the plates are like that. And it's probably enough food for 3 or 4 people to share. As a matter of fact, if you go on a Google search of some of the meals at Cheesecake Factory, they are 2 to 5,000 calories for just one meal. And you are not supposed to really eat more than 2,000 calories a day if you are exercising like I do. If you're not exercising and you're more sedentary, you really shouldn't have more than 1,200 calories because your body just doesn't need it. So the other thing, I pretty much wake up every day at the exact same time, Monday through Sunday. I wake up at 6 and I get my Starbucks. And then from about 6:30 or 7 till 8, I do 1 hour of cardio. So that means either an hour of a spinning class, an hour jogging outside, an hour of walking really, really fast. I do have my Apple Watch, but you can have a Fitbit or something else, or your iPhone, which will keep track. And what you really want to do is you want to keep track of how much you're doing. It's a great way to make sure that you're doubling your heart rate. So my resting heart rate is about 57 beats per minute. And when I'm exercising, I try to get it up to about 120 beats per minute. Although sometimes I'll go breathless and it'll go up to about 137 beats per minute. You really don't want to go higher than that. And what cardio really means is that you really can't talk, that you could have a conversation, but only a few words at a time. And then for part of it, you really want to be breathless because you want aerobic and anaerobic work all during that hour. For lunch, I usually have a really big salad. I love really good salads. I like the ones where it's chopped up really small, like red peppers and edamame and corn and kale or romaine and chickpeas and mushrooms. Um, I try very hard to make a big salad the night before, and I'll have that both, or the day before, and I'll have it for 2 days in a row. If I need some protein, I'll hard boil some eggs. I don't eat the yellow, so I'll just put the whites on there, or I'll throw in some nuts into my salad. Every once in a while, I'll also go to Trader Joe's. They have those really cool tins of like sardines, mackerel, all those kinds of fish. Those are really, really, really healthy fish because when you eat the whole fish, you're also eating the bone, the tiny little bones that are inside, but they're so soft that you don't even know that they're there. But it's a really great source of calcium and all the vitamins and minerals, and it's really healthy. And then my afternoon snack is usually one whole fruit. So I'll have a whole apple, a whole pear, a handful of prunes, something like that. I do not consume any dairy. Notice I don't have any acne. I know some of you were talking about that in yours as well. I used to have really bad acne, and then I stopped the dairy, and it went away almost completely. It also, my stomach didn't like the dairy. And later on in this class, I might tell you a little bit about the Dairy Council in the United States. But for those of you that do enjoy dairy, don't watch it because it'll probably turn you off. For dinner, I usually make a huge pot of soup twice a week, one on Sunday and one on like Wednesday or Thursday. And for dinner, I'll have that soup almost every night. I also really love grilled artichokes, grilled portobellos. Every once in a while, when I really am feeling like I need the protein, I'll grill a piece of chicken or salmon or branzino. I really like the skin of the branzino, so I'll grill a whole branzino. Um, and that's pretty much what I eat. I do eat out maybe once a week. When I eat out, it's almost always either because something happened, like I was supposed to go to lunch for a business meeting and it fell through, so I'll order a salad at a restaurant. But I never have them dress the salad, never have them put the dressing on. You always want to make sure that you put the dressing on yourself so you can limit how much it is because that's usually where all the cholesterol and the fat and the calories are. And if I go out to eat to a restaurant, I try very hard to eat in vegan restaurants because I think vegan restaurants are really cool. Um, and that's about it. I know that some of you talked about candy and treats and sugar. So, first of all, one of the things is I don't have that in my house. If you don't have it at home, you're not going to be tempted to eat it. And not only that, but sugar feeds cancer. And none of us know right now if we have a cancer growing in our bodies, but you really don't want to feed the cancer. If you like sweets like I do, I think a lot of us do, get yourself just a container of organic blueberries, organic raspberries, some kind of organic fruits and nuts, and get your body used to eating those kinds of things. And similarly, I have water with me all the time. I have a bottle, I refill it all the time. Many times you think you're hungry, but you're really not, you're thirsty. And so you know you need something. And so you crave it. And when you crave it, you're going for the sweets instead of the water. I only drink water. I also drink hot water with fresh mint leaves and lemon. Love that. And at work, I make something called, oh, what's it called? It's called healing tea. That's what it is. So I make a big thing of boiling water in a, it's called a samovar. And inside I put a lemon wedge, an orange wedge, a cinnamon stick, and mint leaves, and a peeled bulb of ginger. And the reason for that is because mint soothes the stomach. Cinnamon is actually an anti-inflammatory, and I work out a lot, so I find that it helps keep my muscles and my body from swelling and feeling achy. And ginger is just great at killing germs and, again, making you really healthy. And you do need vitamin C every single day. It is a water-soluble vitamin, and that means that your body flushes it out and you need to replenish it every day. And so I have, that's how I make sure I get my vitamin C every day. The other thing you need to know, and we'll talk about this later on in the quarter, but in the semester, but you also have fat soluble vitamins and minerals, and those are the ones that you store in your fat, like iron and stuff. You don't have to worry about having it every single day. You just need to worry about having enough stores of it. You also never want to use candy or food as a reward system. And the reason for that is because if a child does something well and you give them a candy, or you want them to shut up and you give them a candy, then what you're telling that child is that food is a behavioral based thing. And what you really want to do, and that's the crux of what I'm trying to make this class about, is you want to establish a relationship with food. And so what you really want to do, and here's what I do, is invest in some just cheap Tupperware. I like the glass ones only because they clean really easily. Glass just goes into the dishwasher and I can clean it and sanitize it really well. And I happen to love, I need to have something in my mouth all the time. It's like a sensory thing, or maybe it's an eating disorder. And so I'll get those Persian cucumbers and red peppers and carrots and celery, and I'll cut them up and mix them all together and make 3 or 4 containers of them, and then put them in the fridge. And every day when I'm on my way to work, I'll just take a container. When it's summer, I'll also put in a couple of pieces of plum or peach or nectarine. I can't eat grapes. My body can't digest the skin of grapes. I'll blow up. But you can put some grapes or some other fruits in there as well, and those are your fruits and vegetables. And then in a little Ziploc baggie or something, put in some of your nuts. And it's just a great way to keep your mouth moving and healthy foods, etc. Let's see what else. Oh, some of you asked about smoothies and juicing and things like that. I don't like to drink my meals. I like to actually sit and eat my meals, but every so often, if you're going to want something like that, I would much prefer you have a smoothie to juice. Juice has actually almost no nutritional value except for maybe some of the vitamins in there, but you're actually taking out all the really important stuff, which is the fiber. So let's talk a little bit about high cholesterol and fiber and stuff. So what happens to your body, and this is also from a young age, you have your arteries, right? And your arteries are what I'm trying to make this so it looks like it's going through. Your arteries are what the blood goes through. And every time you have food that has a lot of fat in it, so you know, like when you cook with beef, sometimes chicken, and you put it with the broth into the fridge and it gets that layer of fat that rises to the top and it gets hard? That's what goes on inside your arteries. The same hardening of that fat. It's hard to wash off, right? Like when you get the fat on your hands, it doesn't wash off unless you have soap. So that fat makes a film inside your arteries every time you eat. And then you eat again and it makes another film and another film, and it starts building up until slowly that artery starts to close and the blood can barely go through. And that's when a heart attack occurs, because the blood can't go through. And so you feel that pain in your chest and you're having a heart attack. And that's why we worry so much about high cholesterol. That's also why you need to exercise, because when you exercise, you are making your blood go so hot and so fast through those arteries that it's almost like power washing. You can't take soap into your bloodstream, but you can power wash. And so when you have the blood going fast, your heart's pumping double the speed, you are pressure washing those arteries and getting that fat deposits, that cholesterol, out of the arteries into the bloodstream, where it then gets washed out, used up. Your body is using all those calories, and now you've got lower cholesterol. Here's a few other really cool tricks. For example, if you like eating bread, I would stay away from the butter, unhealthy fat. But you know how sometimes you can go to a store and they'll give you olive oil? You can also ask for olive oil. Most stores will have, restaurants will have them. Dip your bread into the olive oil and the balsamic vinegar. Put a little salt and pepper in there, and I'll tell you why. Number one, everything that you eat goes into your stomach, and then from your stomach, it digests into your intestinal system. And what you really want is you want to coat that bread with a little bit of olive oil so that it makes it harder to digest, right? Because it's harder to get through the olive oil. And so not all of it gets absorbed into your system. The olive oil is actually a healthy fat as long as you don't have too much of it. And then what happens is it goes through your system and doesn't all stay inside. The balsamic vinegar is also really healthy for you. As a matter of fact, anything also that is fermented is healthy. Sauerkraut, kombucha, any kind of like pickles, anything, any pickled foods, totally healthy. Why? If you've ever had antibiotics in your entire life, antibiotics kill all bacteria. But you have bacteria that lives in your intestinal system that is actually healthy bacteria that is essential in breaking down your food and making your poop go through your system better. And when you have those antibiotics, you kill that stuff too. That's why now people have invented probiotics. So antibiotics, right, kill the living things. Probiotics support the living things and put it back into your gut. Not the same like the ones that were there when you were born, but it helps as well. You can buy probiotics at the store and spend a lot of money, or you can eat it in delicious form in the form of pickled and fermented foods. I choose to do it that way. I only take one pill ever. Every morning I have to take a thyroid pill because my thyroid is whacked. It's just something that runs in my family. Anyway, so I prepare these foods. Now here's another little really cool trick. So again, remember, I used to weigh 200 pounds. I started incorporating a lot of high fiber into my diet. So I read labels to see how much fiber is in things. Amazing. If you look at bags of lentils, split peas, or beans, you'll see that it's high fiber. Why do you want that? Because every gram of fiber cancels out a gram of carbs. So let's say you dipped into the Halloween bag and you had a couple of Reese's Pieces or a Snickers bar. If you had that with a whole stalk of celery, like the whole bunch of celery, you would probably pretty much cancel it out. Kind of cool, huh? So just a little trick, but stay away from the chocolate anyways, not healthy. And that's about the high cholesterol. The other thing too is try not to eat a lot of salt. Spice your food. So use things like cumin and turmeric, dill and parsley and cilantro and onions and garlic and things like that. As a matter of fact, when you have a salad, just take one piece of garlic and shave it into your salad. Fresh raw garlic kills the germs in your body, helps you keep healthy. Knock wood. I should knock wood. I have not been sick since I was about 40. Kind of weird, huh? No flus, no colds, no sinus infections, almost nothing. And I think it's partly because I have such a wide variety of those cinnamon, turmeric, cumin. I eat a lot of fresh mint and fresh dill and fresh cilantro and fresh salads and beans and lentils. And the other thing too is I eat almost nothing that is packaged. If you read the labels on packages, you will see that even like marinara sauce, they put sugar in marinara sauce. Who'd have thunk it? There's sugar in almost everything. Read the labels. It's crazy. So you really want to try and make foods yourself. If you've got a whole bunch of friends, do what I do. I do this at work. There's 4 of us, and we take turns bringing in food for one another. So we kind of assign lunch. Somebody makes lunch for everybody. So that way, if you're cooking, it's easy to cook for 1 or for 4. I cook for 4, and then for 3 days, I don't have to cook. Somebody else cooks for me. So do it together. Get some peer pressure and do it all together. For those of you that are really motivated, my next Spartan is Sunday, December 9th. It's by Castaic Lake. You don't have to be able to do all the obstacles. You just have to start getting motivated to be in shape. I would welcome anybody that wants to come join me on my Spartan. Let me know, and I'll send you the link to join our group. Our group's name is Badass Body Goals. And so far, there's about 30 people on the team, which again, peer pressure makes you want to do it. Very many of you wrote that you have a hard time walking upstairs, you get winded, you can't breathe, you're not exercising as much. I want to share something with you that's really the most important thing, and that is don't try to change everything in your life at once. The hardest thing for a human being to do is change. If change was easy, you would never see a nurse or a doctor smoking outside of a hospital, right? They know what smoking does to you, but you still sometimes see them smoking, right? Because change is very hard. So what I want you to do is set one goal today. One goal. One goal. I'm going to walk fast for 20 minutes every single day, or I'm going to walk fast for 30 minutes every single day. Just change one thing. And then you can go and change another thing. So whatever your goals are, put it in your calendar and make sure to mark it down so that every month you're adding one more thing to your lifestyle to make that change. But if you try to change it all at once, you're going to fail because your brain won't be able to, kind of like customize itself to having so many changes at once. Brains like to be lazy. Oh, what a world it could be. All right, see you guys around.